So I'm just kind of hopping on here to wing it. I've been in a really good energy right now, and just been reflecting on the night, reflecting on where I've been lately and what's been going on in my life. And it's almost like it all happened at once. I I did a lot of cleansing, a lot of clearing over the last, it felt like months, but probably a month and a half. And then it just kind of came and things started to shift, and I started to take action on things that I hadn't been taking action on in a while, and clearing up things that I have ignored and put off and avoided. And I kind of just moved through them and did them. And they weren't difficult. They weren't difficult things. They were just things that I had built up like in a pile. Simple tasks, but there were a bunch of them. And I just kind of started checking them off the list, and the next thing I know, the ball's rolling. A week passes, and I'm back in my energy again. I'm back in my mojo. And I don't know, I'm reflecting on it, feeling good. But another big aspect about it was the things that I didn't see were reachable, or like they were so close, but like something was in the way. After I moved through those things, I just started to attract and align and be like in alignment with the stage that I'm trying to be at, or the stage that I'm stepping into now. And that's having my own place, having money in my savings account. It's taken me years to just build up the financial intelligence to learn how to save again. I know that may sound silly, but it's just been like living paycheck to paycheck, and I wasn't learning how to pay myself first. So that's just one of the examples of, over the last month, that's like finally started to happen. It's like I always felt like I was running out of money every single time. I would make the perfect amount to pay off all my stresses, bills, food, whatever it was that I needed to pay for. And the moment that I started to allocate money each month, or each time I got paid, into a separate account for a couple $100 here and there, I've now been able to form the habit. Didn't matter how much I was putting in there. It was more along the lines of learning how to save again. And I'm starting to realize it's the little steps that get you there, get you to where you want to be. And I moved back home after college, and I moved into the office here and there, but I didn't really pay rent. The business did every once in a while when it could, but now I'm paying rent at the same place that I used to live, but now instead of the business getting it every other month, I'm getting it every single month, me personally. And it's coming out of my paycheck, not the business's, which is important to note. So I paid my dad today, so it's one of his rentals, and I like to keep money localized. That's why it was hard for me to move out of my parents' place, because I have a hard time conceptualizing paying somebody else for rent. I know that may sound hard for some people, but I've grown up in a family that has real estate and has rentals, and I've just lived in those, and it was hard for me to move out, because why would I pay somebody else in the community when I can pay my father, or I can pay my family, keep the money internal. And so that's just one of those financial intelligence things that I've put into play. It's been hard being so much around my parents because of growing and finding my own path, but it's also been one of the most fulfilling, because I know how much of a blessing it is to have those years, those 2, maybe 3 years, 2 years after college, where I got to stay and help out around the house with a new puppy, and be around my parents and really grow the relationship that I've had with them. But I also now at 25 realize it's just best for my own personal development and personal growth to be independent and to be on my own. This living at home and living on Kaywood Rentals has been a way for me to save money and to build the business and not to feel that pressure. So it's been a blessing with that, but it's also now like I gotta grow up. I'm choosing to grow up. I have the funds to grow up. So it's just amazing. It's good moves. I knew that it was gonna happen eventually, and it just kind of happens organically. It moves through. So, and I'm back in my mojo, my business mojo. It's not a place that I enjoy being out of, but I understand every single time I get caught up in illusions and caught up in the drama of what's going on in life, I slip out of confidence, and I slip out of the vision and the awareness and the trust in the process. And obviously, like, I gave myself the compassion because it was stuff like coronavirus and stuff like a shifting economy and a whole lot of things that were shifting my life. So I've given myself the compassion to not beat myself up when I slipped. But I knew that I couldn't stay in that lower vibration forever. I knew that I had to at some point start walking forward again. And this was one of the longest pullback energies that I've had, at least since like 2017, where I used to spend a lot of time just introspecting and on the couch. 2018, 2019, I was very active in building a business and working my butt off to create something. 2020 rolled around, and from the very first month, something changed, and I shifted back into like my old self, and it was really uncomfortable to say the least, and pushed me to a few limits in January, February, March, and early April. Came out the other side, I think a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it's like, oh, the clarity's back. Oh, the vision and understanding and knowledge of where I'm heading, clear as day. And whether it's in business, life, money, finances, purpose, everything that I wanted to create in my life, it's like it was like a cloud. I couldn't see it in those 3 months, 4 months. And now I feel it. Now I'm back. Now I see it. A big part of it has been creating my own space again. Ironically, I moved out of this space in January or late December or whatever it was, moved back home, experienced all the cloudiness, reverted back to old Sam, and got used to having food in the fridge, got used to sleeping in, got used to not maintaining healthy habits, especially when coronavirus came around, couldn't go to the gym, didn't have a reason to go out into like a social public situation, so I kind of just fell into the old habits. So it's been really nice to come back into this same space 4 months later, redone, refinished, improved during those 4 months, and it was turned into a rental, and I was like, I kind of felt guilty because I didn't leave it in the best place when I left, and my dad did a heck of a job converting it. It's what he does. He loves projects, and I wanted to help out, and I didn't. I was trying to figure out what was going on in my life with the business. I couldn't puzzle things together. And now, in hindsight, that this room, this space has been cleaned up and improved. I mean, in a way, that's my dad's process. My process was going internal and healing what I was going through. And I almost like to view it from a higher perspective, because I know that, like I said, he enjoys doing stuff like that, but it reflected for me in a way, because I know he wasn't in the best energy cleaning this place. He was probably like, it wasn't the best condition. And not saying I'm a slob or anything, but it's like, partially it wasn't in the best condition in the first place, but I did leave things here and there when he came to clean it up, and he's like, I shouldn't have left it that way. Totally understand. It's his property. I stay here, didn't pay rent. It makes sense. Now it's a really good, clean environment, did a heck of a job. I did a lot of internal healing work in those 3-4 months, came back, and it's like a reflection of that. It's a reflection of, I mean, it's almost like, because when I lived here, I visualized it looking like this. I can't replace floors. The carpet was nasty. Now it's vinyl flooring. So I don't know why I'm diving into all this stuff. I'm just getting at the fact that it's a reflection of my evolution. It just said 11:11 on the timer too, so I appreciate that. So, also, this is one of the first times I've ever truly created a video like this by just starting it and talking. And I really appreciate it that way. I've always, in the past, overthought things, and I'm overstructured and overplanned. I'm getting to the point where I'm realizing the only way I can create the life that I want to create is just simply acting it and being it. So I'm creating this video and I'm creating content like this and speaking it through me and letting it move through, because I know that the stuff that I share, maybe it relates to you. If you're watching it this far in, it clearly is meant for you to be seeing this. So what got me into the idea of sharing stuff like this is spiritual. I mean, there's spiritual teachers who just channel and speak wisdom through them. So people like that, but also like I see in the spirituality community, it's primarily females, and I want to create an outlet for men who, and guys, bros, dudes who are like going through spiritual evolution and spiritual changes, and everyday guys who do what they do, but then like there's a point in your life where it just shifts, and next thing you know, you're recognizing like there's a whole quantum world to explore. That was my experience. I'm just kind of an every I want to say everyday guy. That's not entirely true now, but I was in 2016, and just kind of sparked one day, and next thing it evolved into this. So what I'm getting at is I want to speak as if I'm a channel, and I want to be that role and voice for guys who are going through spiritual evolution and changes, and just kind of be that casual sphere, that casual space for them to recognize that this isn't, I mean, we can be a part of this. It's not, the spiritual evolution is masculine and feminine. Wherever you lie as a being in there, you have both of those dynamics within you. So yeah, I appreciate stuff like this, and I want to do more of it, and I'm still learning to let it move through me. But I think the more that I do this, the better that it's gonna get. So with that said, I'm gonna let this one be a good video. So let me know if you like it. Let me know if you even stayed this long.